Hey there, Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. And if you are new here, my name is Hannah. I am a Western Practical Astrologer. Okay, so in today's video, we are going to be talking all about this Libra season. Now, before we do get into this, I just want to say that I attempted to go live a couple of nights ago to discuss this season. However, there have been major technical issues on my part. So I have decided to do things a little bit differently by recording this now and then posting it. So, therefore, this is not a live stream, but I really hope that you benefit from your horoscopes today all the same. All right, Libra season 2024. We're going to get into it. How are you feeling about it? Let us know down below. Now, just to let you know that if you would like to book a reading with me, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. And there you can also find all of my astrology products if you're interested. And I do want to take a moment to say thank you so much to my patrons over at Patreon for all of your support. If you are interested in joining, the link is down below. Thank you. Okay, so here are some important dates about this season. We're coming up to the autumn equinox, of course, in the northern hemisphere. We're halfway through the astrological year. Can you believe it? So, yes, happy autumn equinox, everyone. Really, it feels like yesterday I was saying happy summer solstice. But anyway, the sun will enter Libra on the 22nd of September. And then notice here that the dispositor of the sun, which is Venus, well, Venus will also enter Scorpio, and that will be more toward the end of the day. And then Mercury will also enter Libra there on the 26th of September. We actually have a Mercury Cassimi coming up where the sun and Mercury meet on the 30th of September. So we're going to touch on that today throughout your horoscopes. Plus, we have the mighty solar eclipse happening in Libra, right? We're in the middle of eclipse season right now. We're going from the lunar eclipse in Pisces right through to the solar eclipse in Libra, from a full moon to a new moon. Maybe you are still processing that pretty powerful lunar eclipse in Pisces. I know I am. And then we see here that on the 9th of October, Jupiter will station to turn retrograde. But hey, we've got Pluto turning direct in Capricorn. So we only have one more month from that point onward where Pluto is in Capricorn. Wow was that. So some transitions, major transitions are happening. Then we see here that Mercury has something to say in Scorpio from the 13th of October. And then we have also this full moon in Aries coming up on the 17th, finishing off with Venus entering Sagittarius on the 17th as well. So on the same day. So we've got major themes to do with Libra and Scorpio, and then a little bit of Sagittarius at the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch on what Libra season really shows us, tells us. What's it all about? So, Libra season this year is from the 22nd of September until the 22nd of October. And I do want to mention here, happy birthday to all of you solar Libras out there. I hope you have a great birthday celebrating you. So we're really going from Virgo season, right? So we're going from being of service and helping others to collaborating, joining in, right? It's about pairing up, partnering up, this kind of stuff. Two minds are better than one. And yes, I have heard a Libra dominant person say that before. Then we're also going from being humble and modest, quite Virgo, to being fair and just, right? It's very reasonable. Then, oh, and standing for truth, might I add. And then we're also going from shining a light, right? So the sun is this big light. It's our life force. So shining a light on our health and our wellness to balance and harmony. But do keep in mind that when it comes to the sun is also about our vitality. So this also aligns, if you will, with our well-being, right? So maybe thinking about where in our lives are we not very balanced? I always like to think of Libra as being the person, or should I say, the sign, the sign, the archetype that says, time to restore balance. How can you restore balance? So I have now placed there just some major aspects, a few aspects that the sun will be creating with other planets slash asteroids. Sun, of course, will conjunct the South Node throughout the season. The Mercury Cassimi will also happen. We've got some communication between Sun square Mars, Sun trine Jupiter retrograde. Sun will also conjunct Juno and square Pluto, right? Where Pluto is still in Capricorn. So that will be a bit of a final goodbye, so to speak, in that way between the Sun and Pluto. But hey, I just want to say here that you can learn more about the aspects over on the Patreon. I talk about the aspects throughout the daily forecasts. So if you're interested, you can join the Patreon. It's £2, £2 per month for daily forecasts. You'll be in the know then about those aspects. And then we notice some retrograde movements. Jupiter retrograde then will begin in Gemini from the 9th of October, and then Pluto direct in Capricorn from the 11th of October. Mark your calendars, folks. And again, I talk about this stuff in more detail over on the Patreon. And here's just a list. I like to show a list of the significant major aspects just so you're in the know. And if you are new to astrology, you don't know what all of this means, I completely understand. You could even just take some notes here and then maybe do your own research about those aspects and what they can mean for you. But like I said, over at the Patreon, I do talk about them. Okay, so with all of that being said, we're now going to get into your horoscopes. Still have the tea time info there. I might have to change that if I'm going to be pre-recording these horoscopes. Do you know what? Even on that note, let me know, right? Do let me know. Do you prefer the lives, or is this style of doing it maybe more preferred by you? I know that many people have joined in on the lives, and I have enjoyed communicating with you, really chatting back and forth about your experiences, your placements, how you're feeling, etc. So yes, it would be good to let me know. Just this way is much easier for me. Okie dokie. So let's begin by talking about Aries. What is happening for Aries this Libra season? All right, Aries. Notice here how the sun is opposite you. So the sun has something to say about creating harmony, restoring balance within your partnerships, within your relationships. Naturally, this could show up as a romantic thing, a long-term committed thing. This could be about your spouse, your significant other, but this could also more so be about business. So thinking about business partnerships, contracts and agreements, things could really shift and change there. So whether this be removing something or adding something, this is the thing about Libra. If you think about the scales, you can help weigh out the scales by taking something away or placing something onto them. Now, the other thing I want to say is that this stuff could be related to customers and clients of yours. Maybe you feel a bit more like you're aligned, there's greater alignment with certain customers and clients, or maybe it's that you're wanting to adjust a few situations there. And just to further add to this, then, Mercury will enter Libra on the 26th of September. So from the 26th of September until the 13th of October, Aries, Mercury will also be opposite you in the 7th. So this then is really about communication, perhaps having a chat with your significant other about things you would like to adjust. This could also be about a certain contract or an agreement, maybe signing your name on the dotted line, for instance. This could be about a client or customer relationship where maybe you're needing to really gain feedback from them, and that can really assist you moving forward. On that note, then, with the Mercury Cassimi on the 30th of September, I think that this can be quite a significant time for you, Aries, within the realm of business, for example, negotiation as another example, collaboration as well. We really could see you, Aries, indeed, committing to a certain plan, a business proposal, a certain agreement. Yes. But I just want to even mention here, be mindful of what you're committing to, what you're signing, etc. Make sure that you're also getting what you need from the partnership, from the deal, of whatever the case may be there. But indeed, I think this can be a really beneficial time to get communicating and to get gaining necessary information. Right. Then from the 13th of October, for the rest of Libra season, Mercury will enter the 8th house for you. So Mercury then, well, Mercury is about the mind. Mercury, your mind, so to speak, will take on more of this intense approach, this intense feel. Maybe this is a case of taking matters really seriously. Maybe this is about really doing your research, really focusing. A good time to focus, Aries, a good time to get concentrating on the profoundness of information that is being presented to you. And this could also be about you really improving upon your skills, right? Really refining your skills with respect to investments or managing resources, managing other people's money there. And the thing about this, I want to say, is that Virgo rules the 6th house cusp for you, and then Gemini rules the 3rd house cusp for you. So these transitions, well, the transition of Mercury from Libra to Scorpio here has something to say about your refined skills, your routines, your daily habits. Maybe it is that many of you, Aries, are adjusting your routines or your habits in some way because of a business partnership or a business deal, because of a committed situation, or because you want to level up. I draw our attention to Venus. So on the same day that Libra season begins, Venus will also enter the 8th. Remember that Venus has something to say about the business deal stuff. So whilst it could very well be that throughout Libra season, you are negotiating, you are collaborating, you're adjusting a few things within your partnerships, at the same time, this is also about intimacy, emotional bonding. This is about transforming in some way, shape, or form, renewals. Maybe this is a good season to really show up as resilient, to show up as, I've got this, I can do this. Okay. Indeed, we will see for you psychological changes and shifts. And then as Venus enters Sagittarius from the 17th of October for the rest of Libra season, well, I think that this could very well be a case of you opening your mind, expanding your view, expanding your worldviews. Of course, this could also be about taking on some kind of training program or a course, really wanting to advance in some way, shape, or form to gain certain credentials. Could really be about knowledge and education in this regard. And then again, we want to bring it back to how that information can be used in business, how it can be used in partnership. And hey, this could also be a case of travel, maybe wanting to travel with your partner, your significant other, and you have these future visions in mind. So you could very well come together, right, pair up with your partner, and you can have those discussions about your travel decisions, your travel plans. But then, hey, this could just be about your aspirations in general with your significant other. Right. Also, just want to mention that on the 2nd of October, there will be a solar eclipse in the 7th house for you. So indeed, this is where we're going to notice significant new chapters to do with the likes of clients, customers, contracts, agreements, the stuff that I mentioned earlier. And then also on the 17th of October, there will be that full moon in your sign. So there's something here about a release or clarity to do with your life path. Your aims, your priorities, your goals could very well be changing in pretty remarkable ways this Libra season, Aries. But I do want to say that there will be a separate video about the solar eclipse and the full moon. Lastly, then, just to mention these retrograde shifts, Jupiter will turn retrograde from the 9th of October. So do keep in mind that you're about to approach just a good few months of reassessing your travel plans, especially short distance travel, reassessing the ways in which you connect the dots, the ways in which you process information. This could be about chit chat. This could be about how it is that you maybe just communicate with others, where it is a bit more lighthearted there. Could be really a time to reassess your social skills. And then from the 11th of October, Pluto will turn direct in your 10th. So indeed, it could feel like this full circle moment here when it comes to your career. This could be a new significant career opportunity, right? The transformation of your career path. This could also be about really business. Again, we go back to business. We go to entrepreneurship, management. This could also be about really wanting to advance when it comes to the corporate world or the government. Governmental roles could also be a big thing there. But hey, this could just also be about advancing in some way, shape, or form when it comes to a business plan, a business strategy of yours. Indeed, I think that there will be a great deal of clarity that you will move forward with. Okay, let's now focus on Taurus. So, Taurus, what is happening for you this Libra season? Well, the sun then is really shining its light on how you can restore some balance when it comes to your everyday routines, habits, rituals. This is about adjusting your priorities and trying to be smart about coworker relationships. This could also be about refining your skills, refining your gifts there, especially considering how you can be rather gifted at collaborating. I think, Taurus, you possess really great social skills, relatable skills there. So indeed, I think that this can give you, the Libra season will give you an opportunity to address this stuff. And let's also just consider how Mercury will enter Libra on the 26th of September. So from the 26th of September until the 13th of October, this is about, okay, how can I be smart here? How can I really use my intellect, use my mind to get ahead, or to see what works and what doesn't, what I can place on, what I can take away? This could also be a case of addressing a few legal matters when it comes to work or your services. Or this could be about wanting to really create greater harmony and balance within your life with respect to your health, but very much a mental thing. It's like, okay, let's think about this, let's go over this. Naturally, with Gemini on the 2nd and Virgo in the 5th, maybe such situations are tied to that of how you earn money, tied to your resources, or maybe the ways in which you consider your options and how you can even seek alternatives. These matters also link to that of your romantic relationships, or they link to that of time off. Thinking about how you can have more time off, how you can enjoy yourself, have fun, this kind of stuff. On the 30th of September, there will be the Mercury Cassimi in your 6th house. So that could invite some kind of insight, some kind of vitality situation with respect to your everyday routines. This could also be about certain information or documents that you receive from colleagues, from coworkers, so that you can make particular changes. This could even be feedback that you receive that is very, very beneficial and motivating and assures you actually that you're doing a really good job. There could be something even about your performance that is highlighted and you feel good about it. Now, with Mercury then entering Scorpio from the 13th of October for the rest of the season, I think that it will be more so your everyday, well, your partnerships and your collaborations that take on more of a, okay, let's really consider how we can come together in terms of our shared resources. How can we maybe save together? Or what debts do we both have to pay off together? Or this could be a situation where major breakthroughs are made, major renewals are made within your partnerships so that you become stronger. Maybe trust is also really highlighted there. There's a greater deal of trust and commitment. And just to focus on Venus a little bit, then Venus will enter Scorpio the same day Libra season begins. So already we see this, right? Venus is your chart ruler, remember? So Venus has something to say about what you are building with your significant other. Naturally, this could be about business. This could be about certain deals you want to make, investments you want to make, money you want to take out. Whatever the case may be, it really shows up as Venus highlighting the partnership aspect. And naturally, as Venus moves into Sagittarius from the 17th of October for the rest of Libra season, well, here we go. Sort of still working with greater insight and greater ability to address shared resources and debts and repayments and this kind of stuff. But hey, you know what? Maybe a part of it is that you're trying to pay a few things off so that you can travel, or so that you can take on a new course, or so that you can be a bit more free. Maybe freedom is actually a big priority for you during this season. You're sort of thinking to yourself, hey, how can I free myself from this financial stuff, this debt? That could be a scenario there. Then again, I suppose in a way, many of us have debt, right? But it could just be more of a thing where something is not weighing on you as much. There is a financial situation that's not weighing on you as much. It could also be a psychological thing. It could be an intimate relationship thing. Maybe it is about diving a little bit deeper into your relationships to really try to understand the truth, or to understand where the other person is coming from. And then with that, there can be transformation and renewals within your one-to-one partnerships there. Okay. I also want to mention that there will be the solar eclipse that will happen on the 2nd of October in your sixth house. So that will really speak to your work, your services, your health, right? This new period, this new era, so to speak, new chapters to do with these matters. Could also be about organization, your stress levels. We think about habits again. And then with the full moon on the 17th of October, well, that will be about your, well, behind the scenes activity. That will be about you really going within, contemplating, practicing stillness. Maybe a part of it as well is addressing what feels somewhat locked away from you or locked up within you. Maybe this speaks to some anger or upset or directness. Yeah, indeed. But naturally, there will be a separate video for these different lunations. So, a separate video for the solar eclipse and for the full moon. Lastly, then, Taurus, we have Jupiter retrograde happening in your second house from the 9th of October. So you're coming up to a period where it is about taking a closer look at, okay, what about your resources and your materials there? What are you trying to save for? How much money are you spending? How are you budgeting? Looking at stocks and bonds and shares and this kind of stuff. And for you, Taurus, a lot of this is quite important. I mean, you are the sign of stability and consistency and security. And with Uranus transiting your first house, and my goodness, things have been very turbulent and very up and down. But hey, you're showing so many of us that you have what it takes. You are reprioritizing things. You are stepping up to the challenge, I think, in many ways. You know, you can be this sign that's very steadfast and reliable and determined. Let's face it, you can be very, very determined people. And then Pluto direct from the 11th of October for the rest of Libra season. Well, I think this is a good moment of real clarity to do with your worldviews and just how much you have expanded your mind over these past 16 years or so, just how much you have opened your mind to new possibilities, new ways of life. Maybe you really think to yourself, my goodness, I did not think in a million years I would be here in my life. And perhaps there's a part of it where it feels bittersweet. You know, it feels like there are parts of it that say, wow, I can't believe that, such and such is no longer, or there was a loss, or there was this really painful situation. But then at the same time, it's also about how much you have grown and the different versions of yourself, layers of yourself that have emerged over these past number of years, Taurus. Okay, so now let's think about Gemini. Right, Gemini. This Libra season, we see here that there is a lot going on in the fifth house for you. So, major themes to do with pleasure, enjoyment, fun, entertainment, your hobbies, your creativity. Maybe seeking some kind of balance there, wanting to restore some sort of balance so that you have more time off, or so that you can maybe spend more time with your children, or maybe just spend some more time enjoying, right? Could also be about your romantic relationships and making more time for dates and spending time together, enjoying one another. This could also be about your sex life, Gemini, and in terms of how you wish to maybe spice things up, or how you wish to maybe seek alternatives in some way, shape, or form. So with Mercury, which by the way, Mercury is your chart ruler, Mercury will enter Libra on the 26th of September. So just a few days after Libra season begins. I know, yes, Mercury's still in Virgos for a couple of days here during Libra season, but we're just jumping into Mercury and Libra from the 26th. So from the 26th of September until the 13th of October, we're going to see here for you. Okay, the real communication to do with romantic relationships, maybe trying to understand where your romantic partner is coming from. This could be about healthier ways of communicating. This could also be about, right, well, I hear you, what do you have to say? But equally, listening is a big part of this. It is about that back and forth when it comes to communication within your romantic relationships. So be about switching things up when it comes to your creativity. This could be about exploring new ways of being creative and maybe trying to refine your skills, or this could even be about certain hobbies that involve you using your mind. Could be learning a new skill that is very much about, okay, I need to focus. I need to try and concentrate on this. Or maybe coordination is a part of this. Or this could be just about puzzles and games and just little things that get your mind going, get you curious. Of course, Gemini, this is you. You're very much about curiosity. So indeed, I think that these matters may really be highlighted this Libra season. Now, there will be the Mercury Cassimi on the 30th of September. So, this could very well show up as you really feeling excited about a new hobby or a project. And maybe it involves your partner. Maybe it involves a close friend. Maybe it just requires you to partner up with somebody else, right? To pair up, to collaborate. This could even be about networking there. So, yes, I think there could be some kind of enjoyable, excitable experience when we think about your hobbies and your interests. And hey, you know what? It could also be about a romantic thing. Could be where you and your romantic partner feel a bit more aligned, or like your mind is in the same place, right? You're sort of on the same wavelength. What is it we want to do here? And so you do seek to make things happen. Could be a real time also of honesty and truth. Now, with Mercury, then, again, Mercury is your chart ruler. Mercury will enter Scorpio on the 13th of October. So, from the 13th of October for the rest of Libra season, Mercury will be in the 6th. So, this really will indicate a time period of, well, you considering the kinds of ways that you show up within your coworker relationships, your colleague relationships. Maybe this is about transforming the ways in which you communicate there. There could also be a greater sense of seriousness and getting to the root of a situation, getting to the bottom of a situation. Hey, it could very well be here too, Gemini, that some people are not going to like what you have to say. They're not going to really enjoy just how truthful and how honest you're going to be with them here, because Mercury isn't going to be in Scorpio after all. But, this could also be a case of great passion, passion and magnetism, and showing up as a very confident, charismatic communicator and being really very wizard like, if you will, with your words. Hey, this could also apply to your skills. This could also show up within your services. Just how these matters will transform and change in magnetic ways for you throughout Libra season. So, as for Venus, Venus will enter Scorpio the same day Libra season begins. So, already we're kickstarting the season with some of this stuff happening. But it is about beauty and pleasure and harmony and enjoyment and love and creativity. So, I think there could be a great deal of focus going into your creative endeavors, but in a way where you are really having to dig deeper. You're having to do a lot of research. You're having to investigate. Or maybe it's that it is about improving substantially when it comes to your skills. maybe really working with certain resources or tools there, or breaking things down and trying to figure out, okay, how does this function? How does this operate? Hey, this could also be about a management position, a management role, could be about managing other people's resources or money there. So, whatever the case may be, I just think that there is significant transformation happening for you when it comes to your work and services throughout Libra season, Gemini. And then Venus will enter the 7th from the 17th of October for the rest of the season. So this could really show up as, okay, time to see how you can expand your horizons, expand your mind when it comes to partnerships and collaborations. Maybe it's about reaching further. Maybe you're not thinking far enough, so to speak. Maybe you're not thinking wide enough. Then again, Jupiter in your sign has been kind of assisting you with this. But yes, still, there is this broadening part of it, I think, with Venus being the dispositor of Libra. Maybe, hey, that broadening element has something to say about romance and love and enjoyment and time off. So this could be about, okay, maybe you need to travel further for a particular business opportunity, but you can also weigh that out a little bit against your time off. Maybe your time off actually seems to be a bit better that by taking that opportunity. So yes, greater opportunities, greater possibilities here to do with expanding your horizons. Even just want to mention as well that the relationship stuff that I just mentioned about romance and love and dating, etc., that stuff will also be tied in with renovations, your home life, your family life there, because Virgo's on the 4th. And it could also be then tied in with your aims, your goals, right? Your direction, your life path, because of that first house aspect. And then we notice that the solar eclipse will happen on the 2nd of October in your 5th. So, indeed, new significant changes and chapters to do with love and creativity. And then on the 17th of October, the full moon will happen in your 11th house in Aries. So, there is also a kind of ending or a shift or a release or a clarity to do with networking, friendships, groups you're a part of. There will be a video about the solar eclipse and the full moon there. They will have their separate videos. Lastly, Jupiter retrograde will begin from the 9th of October in your first house. So, since Jupiter entered your sign around June time, May, June, about that time period, over the past few months anyway, you have been really moving forward with new opportunities, right? New opportunities to do with your life path, really expanding your worldview in many ways. And I think a big part of that has to do with sales, trade. Maybe it speaks to teaching, reporting, could be about journalism, publishing, broadcasting, media, right? But you see, with Jupiter retrograde, this is a good opportunity for you to review where you're at, for you to have just some time to think over, okay, what is the action plan? What do I want? How do I wish to grow further? What do I want from this opportunity, really? Just consider your options, basically, Gemini. Explore alternatives if you need to. And then lastly, have Pluto direct from the 11th of October for the rest of Libra season. So, hey, you know what, Gemini, you could be one of the signs who really does feel somewhat relieved by Pluto moving out of Capricorn, because, I mean, the pressure perhaps you have felt to do with dedication, discipline, to do with certain standards and expectations that you hold there, especially about yourself. And maybe as well, you have explored some shadow side stuff with respect to repression or blockages, right? Thinking about emotional blockages. There could be something about loss or father issues there. But whatever the case may be, which by the way, it's still about you showing up as being very strong and resilient, and you learning valuable lessons from the past 16 years. I just want to say that. But with Pluto direct, maybe it is a case of you feeling a bit more empowered or a bit more inspired to want to really commit or to follow through. And hey, the follow through commitment stuff could be about management, it could be about business, it could be about especially managing other people's money, or this could be about paying off large sums of money, or really working with large sums of money. Right, so Cancer then. Okay, Cancer. So we have a lot happening within your fourth house this Libra season. So much to do with family and home and, hey, your emotional well being. We even see here that Mars is still transiting your first house. There will be a Mars retrograde in your sign toward the end of the year, which we will talk about in due course. But yes, Mars in the first house for you, I feel highlights just how much you're having to be quite active, but being active in ways where it's more about following your instinct or following your intuition, or maybe it's about when the time strikes, when the mood is right. It's this type of thing with Mars in Cancer. And as well, a big part of this is about safety, security, protection, especially when we think about the protection of your loved ones, your family, your home life, all this. So, yes, really making these areas a major priority for you with Mars transiting the first house throughout Libra season. Now, this in a way, I think ties in a bit with the fourth house stuff because, the fourth house is also about home and family, but with it being Libra season, so the sun is shining its light on the fourth house for you, adjustments. This is about fairness. This is about justice when it comes to family relationships. Maybe it is about a few family matters having to change, a few family matters having to make certain adjustments so that other family members can feel more settled or at peace. Maybe even peace is a big element here, wanting to feel more at peace within your family home and not really tolerating any kind of disrespect or rudeness and all this stuff. And, this could even be about the adjustments that are made so that you feel a bit more emotionally stable, emotionally steady. And Mercury then will enter Libra from the 26th of September until the 13th of October. So, yes, Cancer, having that conversation with a family member, just getting it all out on the table, just saying it, just being honest, naturally doing so in a diplomatic way, in a reasonable sort of way, right? Where you can get your point across, but you can also be nice about it. And I'm just going to say this, you may be somewhat fearful of this. You may be somewhat hesitant, of course, because Gemini is on the 12th. Virgo is also on the 3rd. So there could be a sense of correctness or order to all of this family communication stuff. But I think that you will perhaps push yourself in some way, shape, or form to do it, to have that discussion, to get that thing off your chest within your family. Now, this is an actual living sin. Okay, so this could be about a home situation, such as renovation that you want to get done. This could be about the everyday sort of happenings within the home there. This could be about maybe a home that you want to live in, or maybe something to do with relocation there to a different area, perhaps wanting to save for a home there with your partner, with your significant other. And with the Mercury Cassimi here on the 30th of September, there could be this decision that's made, right? It could be a case of, right, okay, are we going to commit to this? Are we going to follow through with this? Okay, let's do it. This could also be where on the 30th or around the 30th of September, the conversation with a particular family member is had. Right. So from the 13th of October, I hope I haven't messed up my dates here, but from the 13th of October for the rest of Libra season, we've got Mercury entering your fifth. Okay, this is about greater closeness, connection, intimacy, emotional bonding, all this stuff. Trust is a big, big part of this here, Cancer. All these things then tied to romance and love. This is about just feeling more connected, more like you can be open and honest with your romantic partner, so with your lover. This could also be about children, having a heart to heart with your child, or having a heart to heart with your significant other about your children. This could also be about laying a few ground rules when it comes to your children, really taking things seriously, getting to the root, getting to the cause of a child situation there. Could be about protecting your children, right? These themes are very strong this Libra season. And let's also remember here that Venus will enter Scorpio the same day Libra season begins. So already we're kickstarting the season with this sort of energy happening, where it is about, okay, I'm having this discussion, I'm having this conversation with my family because of my children, or because of my lover, my romantic partner. Or, it could be a case of time off. It could be about fun and enjoyment and your creativity, your hobbies there, right? So just negotiating perhaps a little bit with certain family members so that you can feel a bit more like you can follow your passions. And hey, it could also be about protecting. Again, we go back to protection. Protecting your children, but maybe protecting the very things that you love, right? The very things that you enjoy. Now, Venus will then move into Sagittarius from the 17th of October for the rest of the season. So, this could be some new sort of opportunity, broadening your horizons to do with work, to do with your job. This could be about maybe a travel opportunity, especially within your job. Maybe this is about advancing in some way or taking on a new course. Or maybe this is just about greater sort of joy and fulfillment, so to speak, when it comes to coworker relationships, or maybe feeling a bit more positive about your health, or positive about the way work is going. Maybe this could even be about a promotion or some kind of new earning, ways of earning money there to do with work, or maybe getting some kind of praise or recognition there. Okay, so let's now consider the solar eclipse, which will happen on the 2nd of October in Libra, indeed. So aligning then with the significant shifts to do with your living situation, your home life, your family life. And then on the 17th of October, the full moon will happen in your 10th, Cancer. So we could see then a release or a letting go or clarity to do with your career path, your vocation, your long-term goals, the sort of public recognition you have or public image you have there, your reputation. Now, there will be a video about the solar eclipse and the full moon. There will be separate videos. Let's think then about Jupiter retrograde. So Jupiter retrograde will begin from the 9th of October in your 12th. So this, I feel, so it will be from the 9th of October onwards for a good few months, but this, I feel, will speak to more of this spiritual insight or spiritual discovery, wanting to dive a little deeper or to understand things maybe on a more emotional level there. This could also be about just taking some time away to go over what your beliefs are, what your worldviews are, what you think really, about the world. And maybe this is about your connection with God or with a higher power. Or, this could even be a case of just going over what your morals are, right? Your moral compass. How is it that your morals guide you in life? Just taking some time to reflect there, to go inward. And lastly, Pluto direct from the 11th of October for the rest of Libra season. Hey, Cancer, can you identify how much your relationships, your partnerships have changed massively over the past 16 years? Can you recognize commitment, greater integrity, greater dedication? Can you recognize the follow through and the structures in place, the foundations in place, but also how certain things have changed and the renewals you've went through, the things that you do not tolerate anymore? Can you recognize empowerment, standing up for yourself? Yes. I think that Pluto direct could very well be another kick, another push to go, hey, wake up, wake up, wake up. It is time to take responsibility here, and you can do this. So let's now think about Leo. So, Leo, we have a lot of energy going into the third house for you this Libra season. So, a lot to be said about things like how you show up on social media. This could be about the delivery of your messages. This could also relate to your studies, learning, right? Education, this kind of stuff. Perhaps maybe a few adjustments are being made when it comes to your local commute, when it comes to your local area. Your vehicle could also be highlighted here in some way where, hey, you know what? Maybe you wish to seek a new vehicle, or there could be an alternative, or maybe it's that you just think of things differently. Your perspective could change. I even think of Libra in terms of, okay, it's the gray, right? Libra says life is not so black and white. Live in the gray, remember the gray. So yes, there could be a great deal of living in the gray, thinking more along the lines of, okay, things are not so black and white with this energy, Leo. Though we'll talk more about that in just a moment, but still, Mercury will enter the third house from the 26th of September until the 13th of October. So we could see here some educational things being addressed, maybe for financial reasons, right? Financial purposes. Maybe because you're thinking about, okay, well, how would I like to earn a living there? What would I like to polish up? What would I like to clean up? Maybe also the educational stuff ties in a bit with friendships or communities and teams. Maybe it is about recognizing that, yes, two minds are better than one, or multiple minds can be really helpful, right? So maybe collaboration is a strong point here. Teamwork is a strong point for you this season, Leo. Maybe recognizing that you don't have to go at it alone, and that other people's views and opinions can be really actually very helpful to you, especially this season. Yes, there could be some kind of significant changes in this way. Now, this could also relate to that of relocation, right? So maybe relocating within your local area, within your neighborhood. It could be a case of moving house, but you don't move that far away from where you already live. It could be that your modes of transport change in some way. It could also be that you connect on social media with different people, and then your worldview actually changes and you are opened up to other opportunities, possibly. Now, Mercury then will join with the Sun. So there will be the Mercury Cassimi on the 30th of September. So, what I just said there about collaboration and teamwork, connecting with different people, hey, this could then align with this Mercury Cassimi, where it does feel like, oh, right, I didn't see it that way. I didn't think of this perspective before I met you. This could literally be you meeting new friends, right? This could be you joining with different communities or clubs, and a lot of that is about creativity or art, or just something that makes you feel good, something that you enjoy, something that brings you happiness, right? The Sun is your chart ruler after all, Leo. So wherever the Sun goes, it is this significant sort of force that says, I'm pulling you in, I'm pulling you in. Okay, so let's think then about Mercury entering Scorpio on the 13th of October. So for the rest of Libra season, from the 13th of October, we've got Mercury in the 4th for you. So a moment ago, I was talking about the black and white stuff versus the gray stuff. Scorpio is not gray. Scorpio can be very all or nothing, very this or that, very black and white. This energy, indeed, this archetype can be like this. So maybe as Mercury enters Scorpio, there will be a part of you that can be quite black and white about family, about your living situation. It could be a sort of defining moment or a moment of nope, not doing this, nope, cutting, it could literally be cutting a family member out of your life. It could be blocking all sort of communication. This could be a case of not tolerating certain BS from certain family members. This could also be about a certain agreement or a contract that you're done with. You are no longer going back to that contract or agreement. And that stuff links in with your living situation there, Leo. Or maybe this is more so about just home things, right? Home, general, everyday home matters where you're kind of cutthroat, you're kind of ruthless about everything. But hey, this could also be about compassion. This could be about empathy. But at the same time, knowing where you draw the line, being somewhat compassionate and loving and caring, if you will, with family members, for instance, but just knowing that you're not going to be messed around there. You're not up for playing games, Leo. Naturally, then, following on from this point, Venus will enter Scorpio the same day Libra season begins. So already we enter the season with some of this stuff going on. We see some stuff to do with possible power plays or manipulation within your family. Or, again, it could be a case of greater emotional bonding, intimacy, right? The closeness element, the trust element, the real commitment there, wanting to maybe help another family member. Or, this could even be a case of a family member helping you, right? Helping you through a dark place, helping you with your own emotions. But at the same time, of course, it is about knowing what you will put up with and what you won't there. Now, Venus will also enter Sagittarius from the 17th of October. So for the rest of Libra season from the 17th of October, well, I think things may be a bit more lighthearted, a bit more freeing, a bit more playful for you. This could be a good opportunity for you to get out, to maybe explore, to be adventurous. The outdoors here, Leo. There could be a lot of outdoorsy things that you like to do, or you may travel, you go on trips. This could also be a case of going on walks or hikes, or maybe this is even about learning and educating yourself within a subject that actually really, really interests you. It's like, oh, I love this so much. I'm very passionate about this. I could do this all day, every day. Then we see here that there will be the solar eclipse in your third house. That will happen on the 2nd of October. So indeed, we do see here for you, Leo, new chapters, new beginnings to do with your social media, to do with information and how that's delivered and how you process it as well. Communication, this kind of stuff will very much change. There will be a video about the solar eclipse coming, and then there will also be the full moon in your 9th house on the 17th of October. That will also have its own separate video, but with that, then some kind of release or letting go to do with your beliefs, the way that you maybe view the world or yourself, possibly there, right? Your beliefs about yourself. Morals as well could also be very much highlighted for you, Leo. Or, hey, this could be about letting go or gaining clarity about a higher educational matter. So let's lastly think about these retrogrades. From the 9th of October for the rest of Libra season, Jupiter will retrograde in your 11th house. So a good time to just take note of, okay, who am I friends with? Who am I networking with? Who do I enjoy being around? Who am I learning from? What would I like to learn from other people? Like to continue learning from them, if you will, and which kinds of people do you connect with? Which clubs are you a part of? Which communities and teams are you a part of? Just getting curious about these things. And from the 11th of October for the rest of Libra season, Pluto turns direct in your sixth house. Maybe a sigh of relief for you, Leo, in some ways, because maybe for you, it's sort of like, oh, health matters. And I've had to really just go through these hardships and these lessons to do with my body or to do with my workload and stress levels and all this sort of thing. But maybe you do feel a bit more like, I've got this, right? It's the last stretch. Could be this whole thing of, right, it's the last stretch. I've already overcame so many hurdles. I can do this, right? It's that kind of push, that resilience, that determination with Pluto turning direct in the sixth for you. Let's now think about Virgo. So, Virgo, what is happening for you this Libra season? There's quite a bit going on. So the sun, of course, will be in the second house. There's a lot happening in your second house, Virgo, this Libra season. So what we see here is that you are really weighing out the scales, readjusting the scales when it comes to your resources and your finances and your earning potential. Maybe for many of you Virgos, you are ready to take on a new stream of income, or you're ready to take on a new role, right? So think about money basically here, Virgo. And Mercury, then, keep in mind, Mercury is your chart ruler. Mercury will enter Libra from the 26th of September until the 13th of October. So that time period welcomes actually some kind of curiosity about your resources. This could be about a business deal, a business partnership where, yes, things start to move there. And then because there is a business partnership or there is a business deal that's made or a contract that is signed, an agreement that is made there, then this means you're a lot more financially secure. Maybe this has been a big priority for you, actually. When we think about how the South node, let's think about the nodes as well. I'm not touching on every single part of the chart because I would be here a very long time, people, but let's think about the nodes for you quickly. The South Node being in Libra since about July 2023. So you have been in this sort of state of mind of, okay, I want to try and weigh out my options when it comes to my resources and my finances and my job stability, my financial stability, my physical security. All these things have just been huge for you, Virgo. And maybe you've been stressing out, you've been worried, and rightfully so. A lot of adjustments and transitions have been happening. But here we go. The Mercury Cassimi will happen on the 30th of September. And maybe that could actually really be a point of, okay, I see this. Right, let's do this. This stuff then could relate to your earning potential. This could even be a self-worth matter, right? You feeling somewhat worthy, capable, you being able to recognize that you're skilled at something, and your skills could be somewhat diplomatic and really about relating with other people, collaborating with other people, coming across maybe as quite refined or elegant within conversations there. And these things could really get you far, if you will. So, yes, we could see some transitions coming up around this time period. As for Mercury entering Scorpio from the 13th of October for the rest of the season, well, we could see then some serious decisions, somewhat serious decisions, just being made about your forms of commuting. So how you commute, how you get from A to B. This could be about vehicles. This could be, transportation in general there. And this could even be about your local area. So how safe and secure you feel within your local area, and protection maybe as well. So perhaps this is about being able to communicate if you do feel unsafe in any way. Or this could also be about certain bonds, like emotional bonds or vulnerability, even to do with your siblings or your cousins or with close sort of relatives there, right? So having this heart to heart or getting a lot off your chest and maybe establishing greater trust with your siblings there. Or naturally, this could also be about feeling a bit more, I would say, charismatic, or like you can do this within conversations and discussions. It's just, there's something here about taking back your power or coming across as a pretty powerful communicator. And I don't mean that in a domineering way. I just mean that in a very strong, resilient kind of way. Maybe you will experience these renewals and transformations to do with your voice and to do with communication in general. Maybe this could also be about the transformation of your social media page in some way, right? Just a change, a transition. And then we also notice that this stuff is also linked to your career. It is linked to your vocation, your purpose, your aims, your goals. Just a lot is really changing for you, especially because Mercury, the chart ruler for you, it was retrograde for a while. And now it's really starting to move through the first sort of quarter of the chart. And so we could see some significant personal changes in your life. Now, let's also think about Venus. So Venus enters Scorpio the first day Libra season begins. So Venus and Scorpio here also speaks to the social media stuff, the sibling stuff, the trust stuff within communication, and the resilience. But this, with Venus, it is about beauty and art and being diplomatic and reasonable and listening and sharing space. Could also be about great healing, when we think about the Scorpio influence, right? So those renewals and those shifts can be really very profound. And this is where there could be some serious healing performed. Maybe this is about coming across as rather magnetic within your relationships, just coming across even as pretty social or well liked, if you will. Now, at the same time, still being somewhat cautious of what you reveal. I think a part of it too is about knowing what to keep private and knowing what to share. There, Virgo. Right, so Venus then will enter Sagittarius from the 17th of October for the rest of the season. So, my goodness, this could actually be quite a adventurous, optimistic time period when it comes to your living situation, your home. Maybe it's that you can finally start to save for your future and you feel really good about that. You feel pretty inspired by that. Could be a particular item that you want to save for your within your house. This could literally be about saving to buy a house, possibly, or to get a mortgage. Or this could be a case of you feeling quite connected within your home, within the comforts of your home, with your significant other, and just there's playfulness, there's banter, there's fun, right? You can just joke around together. Maybe this also speaks to some kind of training course that you want to do within the comfort of your home. I'm saying this and I'm thinking to myself, I relate to this in some ways because I would like to take on a new course, but that will be an at-home study course and it will last, I think, a few months, but maybe that will align a little bit with that Venus in Sagittarius influence. So yes, this could be about gaining some kind of knowledge or adding to your credentials, but within your home. Or it could be about about housing, about property, about ownership. Travel too. Travel could really be on your mind here, Virgo. Okay, there will be the solar eclipse on the 2nd of October in the second. So we could see then significant new changes and new chapters to do. Here we go, your earnings, your physical security. And then on the 17th of October, we see the full moon in your 8th house. So we're seeing some sort of ending or a closing or a release or gaining clarity about Well, psychology matters. This could be about your own sort of psyche. This could be something pretty psychological on a personal level, or this could be about trying to get closer within your intimate relationships. Maybe there's some kind of breakthrough or a release or an ending there so that you feel a greater sense of trust, a greater bond. There will be a separate video about the full moon and about the solar eclipse. Lastly, let's think about the retrogrades. So Jupiter retrograde will happen from the 9th of October for the rest of the season, or for a good few months, But basically, from the 9th of October, then you will be taking a closer look at your career path, your long-term goals, your achievements, your accomplishments, right? Really getting curious about, okay, what is the next step there? Being flexible, being quite open to new ways of doing things, to just multiple skills could be a big part of this. With Gemini in your 10th house, Virgo, you're all about adding to your skills. And I don't think that really ends for you throughout your life. I think you're the kinds of people where it's like, okay, this is for life. I'm a student for life. And lastly, Pluto direct in the 5th house from the 11th of October. So, indeed, things are coming to a close when it comes to your creative projects, your hobbies, your forms of enjoyment. I mean, when I kind of reflect on this, I have been really studying astrology for the past 8 years. That has been a big portion of Pluto in the 5th house for me. Of course, a lot of that aligns with Saturn moving through Capricorn a couple of years ago and everything. But yeah, whenever I think then about just the road, the lessons I've learned, my goodness, I've really grown and I'm so happy about that. So, yes, Virgo, I think this is about you just recognizing how much you've matured, how much you have really grown when it comes to your passions, your forms of enjoyment, also when it comes to how you show up within your romantic relationships. Let's now turn our focus to Libra. Libra, it is your season, of course. So I just want to say again, happy birthday to all of you solar Libras out there. I hope you have the best birthday. Right. So this is very much a season about you. Okay. We even have a lot of planets in your first house. So a great focus on your physical appearance, your worldview, well, the way you perceive the world, and also how you show up, right? Really, how you show up within the world, your approach, and a lot to be said as well about your aims and your goals, just your life path, your trajectory, all this kind of stuff, your title, your name. So, yes, there is a great focus on these areas for you. Maybe there are a few things that you want to adjust. Maybe there are a few things that you want to take off from your scale, so to speak, or there are a few things that you want to add on. Maybe a big part of this too is about your vitality. It's about your health. And here we go with Mercury entering your sign from the 26th of October until the 13th, or sorry, the 26th of September. My apologies. From the 26th of September until the 13th of October, perhaps a big part of this as well is about your mindset. It's about your mental health, okay? Your mental wellness, how you can feel more fulfilled, I suppose you could say, mentally. And the thing about this too, just to say, there will be that Mercury Cassimi, which will happen on the 30th of September. So that I feel could indicate some kind of clarity or a renewal or a new beginning, a new chapter to do with your mental health. And maybe a part of that is about speaking up. Maybe a part of that is being very firm about what your boundaries are. Maybe a part of that is about justice and truth and just being very honest and rational and pretty level-headed too about matters, and just coming across as, you know what, I'm being reasonable here. I've really thought about this here. I've weighed out the pros and the cons, and I know what I want and I know what I'm about. So yes, a lot to be said about these things for you, Libra. Let's then think about how Mercury will enter Scorpio from the 13th of October for the rest of your season. So this then is about the investments that you make, the ways in which you join resources with another. This could be about shares, right? Certain shares that you have, stocks, bonds. This could also just be about your physical security and the seriousness of that, or the intention that's really put into those areas for you. Maybe this is also about some kind of renewal or transformation to do with your resources and your earnings there. Maybe this is even about managing other people's finances in some way, shape, or form. And maybe that's how you do earn money. Or this could even be a case of you addressing your skills and your talents, right? Really taking your time to consider, well, I am pretty skilled at getting to the root of a situation, or I am pretty good at being able to look a bit deeper into things. Research could also be a part of this, the amount of research that you do, or the amount of dedication that is poured into a sort of communicative situation, right? So this could be about studying. This could really be about your education there. And let's think about how Gemini is on the 9th for you, and then Virgo is in the 12th. So this stuff could be about travel. It could be about advanced training, higher education. Maybe certain Libras out there, you are very much focused on completing a program or joining some kind of course where it does involve travel. Maybe spiritual concepts come up here, right? There could be some kind of spiritual practice. Hey, you know what? Even if it's not getting some kind of qualification out of what you're learning, maybe it's about just those practical tools, right? Applying sort of those practical tools to your everyday life, right? Just making things simplified. And maybe it is about starting small, starting small, and at the same time just being very discerning, yet discerning but also decisive. Being very decisive about what you want and committing wholeheartedly. Could be a case of many of you Libras just making a very definitive, draw a line through the sand decision. You go, nope, we're not doing this. So yes, you can be the sign that lives in the gray, but with Venus, actually, which we'll touch on in a moment, but with Venus being your chart ruler and being the disposer of all that Libra energy during your season, Venus is in Scorpio, and it sort of speaks to, well, with Mercury as well connected in with this, but it speaks to relationship decisions being made, where there could be this never look back element to it, or there could be this all encompassing sort of energy that happens. Hey, you know what? This could also be about your own frustrations and annoyances. This could be about what is sort of hidden at times within you and just how done you are with certain things. Hey, let's even think about how Venus will oppose Uranus in the 8th house throughout your season. So, that could be a pretty big jarring moment. It could be a bit of a wake up call there. And that will happen more toward, I'd say, about the 15th of October or so there, Libra. So I just wanted to add that in. But let's also then think about how Venus, again, Venus, your chart ruler, Venus being in Scorpio in the 2nd house could also speak to your self-worth. It could also indicate your own self-worth and being honest about how you feel and being honest about what you need, actually, what you need in order to feel good about yourself. Maybe, this is even about empowerment, feeling more empowered and motivated and inspired. This is about resilience and your strengths, right? Your strength to keep going, your strength to keep pushing, this sort of thing. And maybe too, this could be about your creativity, right? Sort of creative matters being linked to that of passion, real depth there. and focus, really wanting to focus in on your art or your skills and your talents, and just wanting to be very committed. And there is this thirst, I feel, a thirst to want to know, or a thirst to learn more, a thirst to create. And let's even just think about how Taurus is on the 8th house cusp for you. So maybe this stuff is also about shared resources, intimacy. This is about emotional bonding and trust, okay? And the security that these things bring you, right? And how important it is that you are steadfast and pretty steady when it comes to these areas too. Right. Let's now think about how Venus will enter Sagittarius. So just to confirm there, Venus will be in Scorpio from the 22nd of September until the 17th of October. So from the 17th of October for the rest of the season, your chart ruler will move into the 3rd. So this could invite just more of this lighter, I feel, energy, maybe a bit more freeing, right? There could be greater freedom or clarity or understanding. Maybe the beginning, well, a good period, should I say, of your season is spent getting to the bottom of things, wanting to address situations head on, especially about materials, about your finances, about your self-worth. But then we come to the 17th of October, and maybe a part of it is about, right, I'm so glad I got that out. I'm so glad I got that off my chest. Now it is actually time to be free of a situation. And maybe as well, there's something to be said about travel. So maybe taking a trip. This could be a long distance trip, of course, but it could also be a short distance trip. Or this could be about just new experiences, wanting to experience something new, inviting new experiences, or inviting ways where you can broaden your horizons there. Right, so there will be the solar eclipse in your sign on the 2nd of October. So there does seem to be this new chapter, this significant new chapter to do with your life path, to do with your aims and your goals and your identity. And then on the 17th of October, there will be the full moon in Aries. So that will point toward a sort of release or clarity to do with partnerships and relationships. Maybe this could be about finally letting go of a disruptive sort of discord or a disagreement, some sort of possible fighting situation there. Or it could be about standing up for yourself there. And then lastly, and just one more thing here before I move on to the retrogrades, there will be a separate video about the solar eclipse and the full moon. Lastly, then, Jupiter retrograde from the 9th of October. We see here from the 9th of October, then, for you, Libra, you will be reviewing your travel plans, reviewing any sort of educational programs or advanced training that you're doing or that you would like to do. Maybe taking a closer look at your belief systems, your worldviews. And then also Pluto direct will happen from the 11th of October. So Pluto direct from the 11th of October, I think, will invite some kind of breakthrough or another sort of moment of renewal or transformation, if you will, to do with family, to do with, okay, we're not doing this anymore, right? Maybe this stuff that I talk about with Scorpio, remember earlier, it's to do with what you're not willing to put up with within family situations. And maybe a part of this as well is tied to the past. Past patterns, generational stuff could really come into play, right? And maybe too, this is about looking back on the past 16 years and just considering how much you have addressed your fears and how much you have overcome when it comes to family matters to Libra. Let's now think about Scorpio. So Scorpio, Libra season for you as well, it's a part of it is really about coming to terms with the inner you. This is about taking some time, perhaps to yourself, perhaps behind the scenes. This could be about some sort of, a spiritual renewal or addressing your spiritual wellness. Maybe this is about being able to step back when you need to, rest, to really rejuvenate, to recharge. Maybe it is that you feel a greater calling to want to do these things because it's about balance. It's about adjusting the scales of Libra so that you feel a bit more aligned. And naturally, here, Mercury will enter Libra from the 26th of September until the 13th of October. So that time period could certainly show up as just mentally, you're done. Mentally, you're drained. Mentally, you cannot deal with all the outside noise. You just need that couple of weeks to gather your thoughts. And maybe that is really about just your mental wellness, right? Mental health. And maybe too, this could be a case of you doing some research or discoveries behind the scenes, maybe looking into facts and figures and information that is quite interesting to you. Maybe a part of this information is about your creativity or beauty. And then there will be the Mercury Cassimi, which will happen on the 30th of September. Hey, this could be a case of some sort of new vision, a new source of inspiration just coming to you. And you know what? This stuff could also be tied in with, well, let's think about the Virgo stuff in the 11th house. This stuff could be tied in with groups that you're a part of, causes you've joined, movements you've joined, communities here. And this could even be a case of new inspirations and new ideas to do with partnership because you want to join together with your partner to afford a particular trip or a certain experience that you really want to do together with Jupiter in the 8th house there. Now, Mercury will also enter Scorpio, your sign. Yes. So Mercury will be in your sign from the 13th of October for the rest of the season. So this could be where Scorpio, you're feeling more inspired and determined to want to go after your goals. Perhaps Mercury through your 12th house for those couple of weeks can really be good for you to get your head sharp, so to speak. And then it's like, okay, it's time to get my head in the game. It's time to get things moving again. And my goodness, you could very well be on a mission, especially when it comes to your resources. Because here's the thing, Venus will enter your sign the same day Libra season begins. So there could be this fierceness, this ruthlessness, possibly this I will not let go, right? Uh, the real thirst to want to progress, to want to transform here. When it comes to your finances and your resources, you're like, no, I am committed to this. This is the plan I'm on. No one can take this away from me. This could be about management. This could be about getting ahead. This could also be about collaboration or just partnering up with others in business. Could also be about debts and things that you're wanting to pay off or that you're wanting to save for. And you and others are collectively in that together. And then Venus will enter Sagittarius from the 17th of October. So from the 17th of October for the rest of Libra season, Venus will enter the 2nd house. So that could actually be a time period where it is about travel and just saving for really exciting, fun experiences. you're thinking about, okay, yes, my aspirations, and I want to do this and that, and just all these really enjoyable things where you're doing things outside of your comfort zone, right? You're pushing yourself further, you're learning more, you're getting better. Yeah, that could be a pretty exciting transition with Venus in the second house for you throughout the rest of Libra season. Now, we want to think about the solar eclipse. So the solar eclipse will happen in your 12th house on the 2nd of October. So indeed, this could be about major spiritual shifts, spiritual insights. And then on the 17th of October, the full moon will happen in your 6th. So that will relate to that of your work, your services, your health, some kind of release there, some clarity even about the coworker relationships, your coworker relationships or colleague relationships there, maybe thinking about support. There will be a separate video about the solar eclipse and the full moon. And then we notice here with the retrogrades, Jupiter retrograde will happen from the 9th of October. So we could see here then you reassessing all of the shared resource stuff, you coming up with new ideas or revisiting old ideas. So with that, revisiting old ideas to do with shared resources, or taking a closer look at your own psychology and really wanting to understand what makes you tick. Could be a good time for personal development or just changing from the inside out. And that could show up on a very mental level there, with this being Gemini. And then Pluto direct, right? Remember, Pluto is your chart ruler. So Pluto direct in your 3rd house from the 11th of October. So, hey, moving forward with greater authority within communication. Maybe you can recognize how your way of communicating has transformed extensively, massively over the past 16 years, Scorpio, where you can really see, oh my gosh, I've really committed to certain plans. I've really shown up here in disciplined ways. So, yes, the maturity, the integrity, getting the credentials, the achievements, the accomplishments, whew, could be pretty substantial for you, Scorpio. Okay, let's now think about Sagittarius. Sagittarius, right. So we have some things happening in your 11th house this Libra season. So let's firstly think about how the sun is shining its big light on your friendships, your groups, your teams, right? Your collaborations there, networking, just partnership, I feel, is a big focus, and especially partnership within communities. It's more than just two minds are greater than one or better than one here for you, Sagittarius. This is about many minds. This is about really joining together with others and maybe feeling quite supported by your friends, or this could be about the adjustments that are made within your friendships. Those adjustments could then align with greater harmony and balance in your life. Maybe this also aligns a bit with art or your creativity or beauty in some way, shape, or form, Sagittarius. Even just being very diplomatic there, especially with Mercury entering Libra from the 26th of September until the 13th of October. So this could look like you being somewhat diplomatic within your groups, within your communities and teams. This could show up as being on the same page, feeling like you're on the same page with your friends, but also being able to see where you differ, where maybe you don't relate so much, but it's sort of okay, right? It's like you can recognize that there's certain things that you're going to connect with or relate to, but there's certain things that you're not going to relate on, and that's completely fine. But still, I think there is more of a mental focus, if you will, going into that of friendships. And maybe as well, a part of this is tied to your hopes and visions for the future and how, of course, Sagittarius, you're all about your aspirations and your visions, etc. But maybe for you, you want to live a sort of harmonious life, a somewhat balanced life peaceful, right? Creating peace and harmony there amongst your friends and within your communities. And maybe too, a part of this stuff speaks to your partnerships. It speaks to your marriage, right? Your spouse, or a part of this speaks to new relationships, committed relationships, seeing how you wish to grow or expand within your relationships moving forward. Maybe some of this as well relates to that of your career, your profession, and new sort of goals. Maybe this could be about your career goals, or it could be about some kind of achievement or an accomplishment that's related to service in some way there, and just how those things again tie in with your career path. All right, let's now think about Venus. So, well, no, actually, one moment. I want to say here that the Mercury Cassimi happening on 30th of September, that could be some sort of feedback or information that you receive about collaborations, or maybe this could be a social media thing. This could be a team effort thing where you're recognized maybe by the group, by people within the team there. Or perhaps this is even about some sort of new way of doing things, right? Because we think about the 11th house, it could be about going against the status quo or challenging the status quo. This could also relate to just your own sort of unique visions and your unique ideas. So maybe there is some sort of new, unique, innovative idea that you bring to the group, or that the group even brings to you, and you're a part of it. Whatever the case may be, you want to be a part of that cause, that movement, that dream, that change, that difference to be made in the world. Perhaps it even relates to justice and freedom in some way. Okay, Mercury then will enter Scorpio from the 13th of October. So from the 13th of October for the rest of Libra season, Mercury in Scorpio for you, I think, just shows up as, just be somewhat mindful and cautious about what you say. You could start the season where it feels like you're on it, you're on fire, connections are being formed, you feel a bit more with it, so to speak, and communication maybe runs a little bit somewhat more smoothly, I suppose. But maybe with the 12th house activation, all you want is just to be alone, bit of solitude. And even in those moments where you feel this impulse, this compulsion to say something, I know, Sagittarius, you can have the tendency of being quite blunt, let's say that, but that compulsion within you to sort of say that thing, maybe it could come across as a bit, a bit cutthroat, so to speak. But you know what? Hey, just gonna say this. Maybe some people need to hear that truth, right? Right? Maybe some people need to be told what you actually think in that moment. And maybe in that way, it is about getting it off your chest. And you actually feel a lot more sort of free from that, if you will. You can be honest about how you feel deep down. But here, another way to look at this could be about your own privacy, right? This could be about, no, actually, I am entitled to my privacy, my private life. Stop trying to probe at me. Stop trying to poke at me. I will communicate whenever I'm ready to communicate, right? There could be some serious boundaries that are being set here for you, Sagittarius, within discussions. Right, let's think about Venus. So Venus will enter Scorpio the first day Libra season begins. So until the 17th of October, then throughout Libra season, Venus will be in the 12th house. So we could see then certain relationship matters being kept private. And just what I mean by that is maybe it is about you and your significant other, your partner, as an example here, just taking some time to go over necessary steps, plans, what you want to do there. Could be financial stuff as well that you keep to yourself, that you keep private. And it just requires some extra thought. It requires some time to go over, right, the ins and outs, what could be the possible things to look out for here. Getting to the bottom of things as well. Maybe this is about truth, right? Really assessing what the truth is. And maybe there are some things about the truth that you yourself will find challenging to face. Could be quite heavy, actually, right? In this way. But it could also be a great time of transformation, of renewal, and really growing, right? Growing through a particular relationship experience, a financial experience that at first it may feel like, oh my gosh, life is just knocking me down. Oh, what am I going to do here? How are we going to get out of this? But light is at the end of the tunnel, especially because Venus will enter your sign from the 17th of October for the rest of the season. So there we go. The light moment, the clarity, the oh, I can see the blessing in this. Oh, I can see how I've learned from this. Sagittarius, you can be this sign that keeps on holding on to hope and faith, and you can be very philosophical. You can believe in the good of your past. You can be somewhat positive about things. And I say that without making it appear as if I'm pointing towards sort of toxic ways of being positive, where you're not, if you know what I mean, you're feeling really down. I think it's more of a genuine positivity where you do feel inspired. You do feel like, oh my gosh, I went through what felt like a dark night of the soul there, or I went through what felt like just really hard times there. Like it felt grim. And maybe, yes, it is about a certain period of Libra season saying, go through the sadness, go through that pain. But I think that moving here toward Venus, entering your sign, there could be greater feelings of, okay, I'm uplifted, I'm motivated again, I'm inspired again. This is what I've learned from my experience here. Okay. This could also be about new visions, new dreams, new hopes, new aspirations, thinking about your goals, your aims for the future. Your season is coming, Sagittarius. I just want to say that. Now, let's think about the solar eclipse that will happen on the 2nd of October. That will happen in your 11th house. So that will be a period of, okay, new beginnings to do, well, significant changes to do with your communities and teams and your hopes for the future. And then the full moon in Aries on the 17th of October will point towards some kind of release or clarity to do with children, your creativity, your forms of enjoyment, your romantic relationships. There will be a separate video about both the solar eclipse and the full moon. Lastly, let's think about these retrogrades. So there is the Jupiter retrograde happening from the 9th of October in your 7th. So from that time period onwards, just go over what has been said, what has not been said, within your relationships. Go over the decisions that are still to be made, thinking about how you and your significant other or your partner can just communicate more effectively there, how there can be greater understanding. Maybe this is also about business stuff. This is about clients and customers, just taking a closer look at these areas and these discussions. And then Pluto will turn direct in your 2nd house, Sagittarius, from the 11th of October. So maybe you can look back on the past 16 years and think about, Sagittarius, how much you have matured and grown when it comes to your resources and your materials, just the dedication of you, the determination of you, just how disciplined you've been. Maybe this is about the kind of integrity that you've shown and how you've been responsible, really, about your physical security and about your finances. Even though, yes, there have been major setbacks along the way and major hurdles along the way too. Okay, so Capricorn. Let's explore you, Capricorn, during Libra season. Well, we have a lot happening in your 10th house here, Capricorn. So the sun is shining its light on your house of career, your professional life, your vocation, your purpose. Many Capricorns out there, you are adjusting the scales of balance and truth and harmony and justice, all the rest of it. You're adjusting those scales so that you feel a bit more aligned right? So that there is greater honesty and integrity on your part. Maybe this is about partnership, this is about collaboration, seeing that for you to be successful, you need to delegate, or for you to be successful, it is important to have people on your side, people on your team. And with Mercury then entering Libra from the 26th of September until the 13th of October, well, this stuff could show up as, well, this period could show up as you communicating in a pretty professional manner. You showing up as quite diplomatic and fair and reasonable, very rational with members of authority, with bosses and managers. And because of that, you are recognized, you're seen. And if you are a Capricorn who you are a manager, you are a boss, you run a company, you run a team, maybe you're even self-employed, this is still about communicating effectively with your audience, with stakeholders, with shareholders, with your colleagues and your coworkers there. You know what? I'm even just going to say this, Capricorn, there could be some sort of new professional path that you take throughout Libra season, especially because there will be the Mercury Cassimi, which will happen on the 30th of September. So this Cassimi will have something to say about your services, about your work. It will also speak to that of higher education, advanced training there. So wanting to learn new skills, wanting to upskill in some way, shape, or form. And maybe too, there could be a promotion on the horizon here, this Libra season for many Capricorns. And I'm even saying this because of the solar eclipse, which will occur on the 2nd of October there, Capricorn, in Libra. So there does seem to be new beginnings to do with your professional lives. Even just to follow through with this a bit, because we're on the point of the solar eclipse and the full moon, there will also be the full moon, which will happen on the 17th of October in your 4th house, Capricorn. And that will show up as a release or clarity about family stuff, about your living situation. There will be a separate video, though, about the solar eclipse and the full moon, just to say. So let's now continue on with Mercury. So Mercury then will enter Scorpio from the 13th of October for the rest of the season. So we see here that your mindset will be more about, could be more global matters, could be more about collective situations. Maybe you want to make a difference, you want to make a change in the world. Perhaps you feel quite intensely about conversations that you have within your communities and your groups. Maybe also this is about knowing what to keep private, knowing what to keep to yourself within groups. And then at the same time, knowing what to be vulnerable about and knowing what to speak on, how you can use your voice maybe for change, for beneficial change. And perhaps too, this is about addressing your fears in some way, shape, or form when it comes to socializing. Maybe this is about public speaking. This is about just being in a room where it is full of other people and you're having to perform admin duties, or you're having to communicate in some way, you're having to deliver information. So your fears could very well come up here, but you've got this, right? You can work with this energy, you can show resilience, you can show determination. And I mean, Capricorn, you are a sign that is willing to step up to any challenge, I think. If it is a hard thing to do, Capricorn, you sign right up for it. You don't really make things easy for yourself anyway, I don't think. And even if the job, so to speak, is too easy, I think you do search for other roles where there is more of a challenge. And you do also respect the process, I think. So, with that, then let's think about Venus. So, Venus will enter Scorpio the same day Libra season begins. So, with Venus already being in the 11th house for you, I think that this could show up as relationships and collaborations happening there when it comes to teams and communities. And maybe this is about compassion and empathy and feeling this closeness, this bond. Hey, this could very well be a matter of you relating to people within your communities in such a way where you're hearing their stories. It's very personal. It's very intimate stuff, right? Or this could be about you feeling actually very strongly about your communities and teams and wanting to create safety and protection for others. Who you could very well transform on a more intimate level, I think, when it comes to these wider um, grips, right? So even let's think about your audience, thinking about your social media presence, this sort of thing. It could be then that people feel a lot more sort of, I would say, trust, there's a greater sense of trust, right? There's trustworthiness, maybe because of your honesty or because people are recognizing just how dedicated you are. And then we also see that Venus will enter Sagittarius from the 17th of October for the rest of the season. So I'm going to say here, Capricorn, for the rest of Libra season from the 17th of October, that could just be a good time period for you to go behind the scenes, to reflect upon, contemplate about, okay, what are my beliefs? What are my worldviews? How do I really feel about my money, my earnings, my resources, my physical security? Just asking yourself the bigger questions about these things and just doing that more in solitude, doing that more behind the scenes, in private, just to gain greater clarity then. Or maybe this is really drawing from your faith. This is about your connections with God or with a higher power there, Capricorn. Just taking that time. Maybe even this is about taking some time to yourself to go on a fun retreat or just to do something for you. Some kind of experience, an adventure, getting outdoors there, Capricorn. Right. Let's then lastly consider the retrogrades. So Jupiter retrograde will happen from the 9th of October. So that retrograde will occur in your sixth house. So that will be a good opportunity for you to just reconsider, to go over, right? What about my routines, my habits? How do I wake up each morning? What is the routine? Whenever I go to bed at night, what is the routine there? What about working out? Am I pretty active there? Am I consistent there? Maybe it's just about switching a few things around. And it doesn't have to be major. It does not have to be major. New ideas could come to you, or you could revisit old ideas about your health or about your routines, your habits, your diet, your fitness levels. Lastly, let's think about this Pluto direct happening in your first house. My goodness, Capricorn, how are you feeling that now Pluto will turn direct in your sign for the final time? So this has been for the past 16 years or so, where Pluto has been in your first house. Will not be there for another 200 years or so. So hey, yes, maybe you can recognize and identify within yourself just how much your views about yourself, your perspective, how these things have shifted and changed in really responsible, dedicated ways. Maybe you can recognize how your identity itself and your appearance and just how you present yourself to the world has, really changed. And maybe you are feeling a bit like, do you know what? Um, I have so much that I can look back on and go, yeah, those times were hard, and I can accept that. I can accept the trials, the tribulations, the hardships, but I can also see that I am badass. I am badass. I am strong. I am powerful. I can do this. Just enjoy the moment, I think, in a way, Capricorn. Enjoy the moment in terms of you have achieved so much. See how much you have achieved in these past 16 years. Be proud of yourself. Recognize yourself, Capricorn. Okay, so we have Aquarius now. We've got Aquarius. So, Libra's season for you, Aquarius, we see all of this energy happening in the ninth house, of course. So, a lot to do with higher education, a lot to do with advanced training, right? Certain programs, courses you may be really excited about, really interested in. Maybe this is also about your worldviews, about your belief systems, and how those things are going to be adjusted in some way, shape, or form throughout the season. Mercury then will enter Libra from the 26th of September until the 13th of October. So that transition could, or that time period could be about, okay, time to get studying, time to really understand a new sort of program or a new subject, or to expand more on what you already know, to maybe branch out a little bit, to broaden your horizons a little bit. Could be a good opportunity, Aquarius, for you to go over all of the necessary steps, all the necessary information that you need to know, and to be somewhat diplomatic and reasonable about it, and maybe to see that by communicating in a somewhat more diplomatic way, then more people may want to collaborate with you, or they may want to teach you more. They want to share with you, hey, this could be about broadcasting or publishing or sharing yourself, right? Sharing with the world what you have learned. But yes, doing so, yes, in a diplomatic way, but also in a beautiful way. In a somewhat beautiful, poetic, and artistic, creative way there. Now, there will be the Mercury Cassimi, which will happen on the 30th of September. And that Mercury Cassimi could very well indicate some sort of new chapter or clarity about your aspirations. I'm going to even suggest this, Aquarius. Maybe you and your significant other, your partner, or a close friend, you're planning this trip. You want to travel to a certain destination, you want to travel around the world, whatever the case may be. There is this perspective that is gained. There is this, oh my gosh, we can finally make this happen. We can finally do this. And naturally, Mercury does rule the 8th for you and the 5th for you. So I think, yes, this further suggests you traveling with a romantic partner, or this could be about you coming together with your significant other, and then considering what each of your resources are in this way. And then you can join, right? You can join forces. And maybe too, this could also relate to some sort of program, right? Maybe you decide to take out a loan, or you decide to get some assistance there as a way to help you pay for a program. And you do actually show some sort of consideration in terms of, right, I can pay that back. You're going to think it through. I think with you, Aquarius, you are the kinds of people that, when it comes to financial stuff, I think that especially with Saturn being in your second house, you're trying to be a bit cautious and to just think things through a bit. Okay, it's this whole thing of not really you don't want to spend money that you don't have. But hey, you know what? I would also say that there can be times when you follow your inspiration, you follow your dreams. And maybe that's been a big thing with Neptune through the second house for you since 2011. And maybe you think to yourself, oh, wow, okay, I really thought I would make such and such money, but okay, well, things didn't really go according to plan there. But hey, you know what? This could also be about intuition and insights. So there's different ways to look at this, of course, but whatever the case may be, I just think that you're going to have your head screwed on. Is what I'm trying to say. You're going to have your head screwed on this Libra season when it comes to financial matters. And then also, we see here that Mercury will enter the 10th house from the 13th of October for the rest of the season. So From the 13th of October for the rest of the season, this could show up as you really wanting to learn a great deal about how professional things function, how the structure really operates from the ground up there. I mean, if it is, for instance, here, Aquarius, that you are transforming when it comes to your career path, your work, when it comes to your public image, when it comes to your accomplishments and your achievements, if you are on this trajectory where there is great transformation happening, I think that you're going to want to go into it being very informed, really educating yourself, just wanting to know, right, how can I do this correctly? How can I be professional? How can I learn as much as there is to know about this company? How can this be rewarding for me? And how can I make a change here for the better too? Speaking of which, though, Venus will also be in Scorpio. So the first day of Libra season, Venus enters Scorpio in the 10th house for you. So this is also where we notice this real likability, this interest, this intrigue, maybe somewhat being, how do I say, really intense about your professional path, intense about making things happen in transformative ways where you're feeling more empowered. This could also be a case of knowing what to keep to yourself, knowing what to keep private when it comes to your public persona, when it comes to what you share online. That could even be a thing here. But we do see how things could change in magnetic ways for you when it comes to your accomplishments and your achievements, Aquarius. And then Venus will enter Sagittarius on the 17th of October. So for the rest of Libra season, we see that things could feel a bit more freeing and interesting and inspiring for you. It could be that during the first few weeks of Libra season, it is about having to focus, having to really concentrate on things so that you can retain information or so that you can learn about um, your your role in a way where you consider your finances, you consider your physical security more so. And then because you really focused, because you did that research or because you laid the groundworks there, with Venus in the 11th, you feel a bit more like, yes, okay, time to share this, time to pass this on. Or, this could even speak to learning more, right? But maybe feeling a bit more hopeful or somewhat optimistic about the whole experience too. Perhaps this is even about new friendships forming. Hey, Aquarius, right? New friendships could form for you during Libra season, new connections, being a part of different groups and communities. Networking could be on your mind. And again, you may feel more inspired and uplifted by all of this. Right. So the solar eclipse will happen on the 2nd of October in your ninth house. So that could speak to new beginnings, significant new chapters to do with higher education, to do with your belief systems. Then on the 17th of October, we have the full moon in your third house, highlighting some sort of release or clarity about commuting, your local area, how you get from A to B, or about siblings, right? Sibling relationships could be a case of really needing to get an angry thing out, right? To express anger in some way, shape, or form, or needing to really support yourself or to support loved ones or to stand up for yourself there. Now, there will be a separate video about the solar eclipse and the full moon. But lastly, let's think about the retrogrades for you, Aquarius. So the Jupiter retrograde will begin from the 9th of October for a good few months, happening in your 5th. So a good time, a good opportunity for you to go over, right, how much time do I spend off, right? What about my off time, my time to myself where it is about not working, right? And it's about your leisure time, your hobbies, your enjoyment, these things. Taking a look at what you can change there, how you can be flexible, how you can be a bit more adaptable. And then with Pluto direct in your 12th house, my mistake, in your 12th house on the 11th of October, that directness of Pluto could be maybe some kind of defining moment or a closing element, so to speak. Now, I know Pluto will still be in Capricorn for another month after that, but maybe it's just sort of gearing up to a closing here when it comes to a therapeutic situation, when it comes to a behind the scenes situation, a spiritual situation. Could be about greater empowerment from within and the building blocks there, and just the structures and the foundations that have been looked at and built within yourself, right? Thinking about your inner authority and how that could show up as you recognizing your resilience over these past 16 years, Aquarius. And lastly, we have Pisces. Pisces, this Libra season. So Pisces, a lot happening in your 8th house. So a lot to do with the subconscious, a lot to do with your shadow. Maybe for many Pisces, you could very well currently be in therapy, or you go for counseling sessions perhaps. Maybe you think about going to therapy this Libra season, and it's just really about your mental wellness in this way. I think your psychological wellness. And perhaps too, there could be greater insights that are gained to do with the occult, to do with hidden matters, the taboo as well. Perhaps for many Pisces, you address the things that are hidden, right? The things that people don't want to talk about, they don't want to share. You're willing to kind of dive into those areas. Naturally, this could be about trust, addressing your fears, especially within relationships and partnerships. What is holding you back, maybe from connecting, so to speak, with a significant other? And is it that there are certain truths that are not being shared, that are not being said within your relationships? Yes, this could be a whole thing where the truth is very much revealed. The truth comes to light, Pisces, this Libra season within your relationships. Naturally, this could be about your intimate partners. This could be about long-term committed relationships, clients, customers. This could be a business thing. And Mercury, of course, will enter Libra from the 26th of September until the 13th of October. So that then, I think, it indicates the partnership stuff, because Mercury does rule your 7th. It indicates certain corrections or certain changes, things that you want to maybe clean up, so to speak, or improve. Improve is perhaps a better word for this, but to want to improve upon things here within your partnerships. And maybe too, family comes into the equation. Certain family partnership or certain family members have a few things to say. Hey, it could be that certain parts of this are quite messy, right? Because maybe so many people are getting involved, everyone has their own point of view, and it's hard to find where the truth actually is, if you will. But I would also say that this could be a good opportunity for you to be somewhat rational, or to kind of figure things out for yourself, right? To question things, to sit back, really observe, really question, okay, what is being presented, what is being said, how can I be calm in this situation, and to be a bit patient. Maybe also this stuff speaks to shared resources, right? It could, for instance, be about hidden resources, hidden money. It could be about secrets, things like this. And I don't want to paint this out to be this really negative, super bad thing. It's just that, it really depends on what is said. I think that depending on what is said, could, depending on what is said, there could be matters that really throw you off a bit there. But hey, you know what? It could also be a case of, because the truth is said, you can move forward with that. And naturally, with Mercury, the Mercury Cassimi on the 30th of September, this could be where the truth revealed stuff really comes to light. You know what? I'm also going to suggest here that this stuff could be more of a personal thing, more of an inner discovery thing, a psychological thing. Could be a case of addressing a psychological distress, or I'm going to be very sensitive as I say this. This could be about an unresolved trauma. This could also be about just your own psychological process and what you're trying to investigate more clearly there, what you're trying to get to the root of. Okay. And, this stuff could also relate to that of shared resources, other people's money, and wanting just to be on the same page a little bit there. Now, Mercury will enter Scorpio from the 13th of October for the rest of Libra season. So this is where we see maybe this greater intensity going into that of your research and learning more about the world and wanting to maybe align yourself greater with your aspirations. And maybe too, we could see potential renewals or breakthroughs to do with this stuff, right? This could even be a belief system breakthrough. This could be a travel situation that has been on your mind, and you want to know more and you want to learn more about the culture and the ways of life there. This could be about this real black and white decision that you make where it's like, right, okay, I'm done. I'm going to this program. I'm going to this course and I want to train. I want to get better here. Or this could be a very black and white decision about a belief system situation or a worldview situation where you finally draw a line through the sand and you go, nope, not today. I'm not going there. Self-sabotage can come up when it comes to Scorpio energy, of course. Naturally, this is also about trusting in your path, trusting in your aspirations, and self-belief, I think, too, could play a role here. Believing in yourself, believing you can do it. And maybe there's something quite freeing, too, about this, to maybe free yourself from a certain belief system that just no longer has any sort of power over you anymore. Now, Venus will also enter Scorpio the same day Libra season begins. So Venus in Scorpio speaks to also the enjoyment and the creativity and the artistic expressive stuff here, if you will. So maybe feeling moved by travel or feeling moved by something educational for you, or maybe adjusting to a certain philosophical view that is really profound, and it guides you, it leads you, it inspires you, right? It really opens you up, and maybe a part of it is about compassion, and a part of it is about intimacy and love and loving deeply, loving passionately, loving passionately and deeply and truthfully too. And then with Venus entering Sagittarius from the 17th of October for the rest of the season, Pisces, my goodness, there could be a lot to be said about your career path, maybe opening yourself up to new opportunities there. There could be something about you achieving something pretty great or something pretty remarkable here, and that being presented to the public, maybe greater public recognition. Maybe this is about broadcasting or publishing and having your name in the clouds, so to speak, or written in the stars, so to speak. Yeah, this could be a real time of greatness, a real time of people seeing your name, hearing about you, wanting to work with you, wanting to give to you. There could be a great deal of generosity here and just sharing, just sharing your wisdom, sharing your truth, sharing your knowledge with the world, other people wanting to give to you as well. And then we also notice that the solar eclipse will happen on the 2nd of October in your 8th house. So, new beginnings, significant changes, of course, to do with the psychological stuff that I was talking about earlier. And there will be a separate video about that, of course. And then with the full moon happening on the 17th of October in your second house, a sort of release or an ending or clarity about your resources and your physical security and your skills and talents. There will also be a separate video about that moon. Lastly, the retrogrades. Jupiter will turn retrograde in your fourth house from the 9th of October. So remember, Jupiter is your chart ruler. So a good time to reassess, to review all of that family stuff. Maybe to take a closer look at the past, memories, what was said previously, revisiting old ideas to do with your living situation. Maybe this is about relocating or travel or just moving there, but it is about let's take another look at this. And with Pluto direct happening on the 11th of October in your 11th house, well, it is time then to really think about and to consider the past 16 years, right? How much you have grown when it comes to connecting with the world, right? Really connecting within your communities and your groups, and how you've really valued quality over quantity, how you've really stood for something that's greater than yourself, how you've really made a difference, made a change to the world there, about the foundations and the structures that you have built within your teams and communities, maybe as a good source of integrity and dedication, and to show people, hey, you know what, I really am responsible here. So yes, you can move forward with these lessons and maybe just take a moment to go, hey, you know what? I have achieved so much over these past 16 years when it comes to these matters. All right. So that is everyone. And I just want to say thank you so much to my patrons over at Patreon for all of your support. Thank you so much. And with that is your horoscopes. That is Libra season 2024. Thank you so much for listening. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. And if you did enjoy this live stream today, if you benefited from it, you can always buy me a coffee. There's no pressure to do anything though, but just to let you know what's available. With all that being said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you would like to see more videos from myself, you haven't subscribed yet, then make sure that you click the subscribe button to keep updated. And I will talk to you all in the next video. Bye!